Welcome to Sports Babes. We're talking Barry Bonds. Love him or hate him.
All right, so they say the chicks dig the long ball, and if that is the case, then when this baseball season starts, all the ladies are gonna be watching. And why is that? Because Barry Bonds is about to break Hank Aaron's 755 home run record. But Vicky, should we put an asterisk by that if he does in fact break that elusive record?
You know, you can hear constantly people saying, oh, absolutely, there should be an asterisk beside his name, but come on. If you put an asterisk beside his name, you gotta put one beside every guy that's ever corked a bat, every pitcher that's ever scuffed a ball. It can't be done. And first of all, the guy's not been found guilty of anything. You can't do it.
But how can we all ignore, you know,
the big head, the big beach ball, pumpkin head.
All the growth that has gone when it comes to Barry Bonds' body over the years. I mean, he is not the man everybody knew 10 years ago. He looks completely different.
He does. I mean, he has admitted, you know what, I took steroids. I didn't know I was taking it. I thought it was some kind of a cream, whatever. I don't buy any of that. But the point is, Major League Baseball does not test for it. He's never been found guilty of taking steroids, so how can you put an asterisk beside his name? You just can't do it.
Did you know that Barry Bonds' shoe size grew from a 10.5 to a size 13? That's a lot of Wheaties.
So then what about the witch hunt, though? Because it seems like the federal government, of all people, is after Barry Bonds constantly, and they're just waiting for any second to be able to pin his ass to this.
You know what? They're never going to do it. I think what they should be doing is taking blood samples from these people in like 15 years when you can test for all these drugs, maybe retroactively go back and say, you lied, you were taking it, and then maybe the fans will finally be able to go, you know what? That's the reason he deserves an asterisk beside his name. But until then, you just can't do it.
And then there's the whole thing about, you know, Bud Selig has openly said he's not going to be there following the home run race that he's going after. So, I mean, what does that say to all the fans out there if you don't have your commissioner out there supporting this, you know, passing the torch? And apparently Hank Aaron's not going to even be there either. And, you know, that's his record. That's the most coveted record in Major League Baseball.
Well, I think if anybody deserves an asterisk, it's Bud Selig and Fear, because those two guys should be held responsible for all of this. They're the guilty ones. You know what? Until somebody comes down and says, we're going to start testing, and they're going to make it more than a slap on the wrist if they get caught with something, it's going to go on. Baseball's always been a dirty sport. They have always kind of encouraged the cheating because, face it, if nobody's hitting them out of the ballpark, nobody's watching. The fans, I mean, even the fans are kind of guilty.
According to an ABC poll, 37% of Americans say that Barry Bonds should remain in the record books. But 38% say he should remain in the record books only with an asterisk.
I mean, look what happened with the whole home run race between McGwire and Sosa. It put baseball back on the map. Before that, there was the strike. Nobody cared about baseball, and everybody kept hushed and didn't say anything, including Bud Selig. And I think a lot of this is on him, and everybody knows he's the non-committal commissioner. Remember the All-Star game? The tie? Are you kidding me? He didn't say anything about that. I mean, he sucks, and quite frankly, I don't care about his toupee ass not being there. What I care about is why is Hank Aaron not there, and I think that's what everybody needs to take notice of.
That speaks volumes. I certainly don't wish the worst on anybody, but I just have a feeling that all the steroids, this year he's going to have some kind of major muscle problems, and we're not going to see Bonds, and hopefully next year everybody will be smart, not pick him up, and Hank Aaron's coveted record will go on. Wouldn't that be great?
Let's hope so, but you know what? I'm still going to be watching, I have to admit. All right, so that wraps up this show of Sports Babes. Join us again at sportsbabestv.com.